Hare Krishna, welcome to our show Ask a Hare Krishna. In today's show, viewers' question will be answered by Her Grace Rasmanjari Mataji. Rasmanjari Mataji joined International Society for Krishna Consciousness in the year 1994. She is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. She had done her MS in ENT from KEM Hospital, Mumbai and DONS from Royal College of London, UK. From past 17 years, she is serving at Bhaktivedanta Hospital in Mira Road, India as an ENT surgeon. She is married to Jagannath Vallabh Prabhu. They both are serving as counselors to congregation. And she also conducts Chetna, the youth festival for girls at ISKCON Chapati, Mumbai. Let us take our first question for this show.
Hello, this is Mansi from Jamnagar. I have seen many of my friends unhappy with their marital life. Seeing them has made me uninterested in getting married. At the same time, we hear that it is necessary for a girl to get married. So, my query is it good for a girl to stay unmarried?
Very nice question. We may have come across so many of our best friends, sisters, cousins who have got married, and we see that they are going through a little stressful, not a very happy marital relationships. And they may motivate us or inspire us that better to remain unmarried. Why one should get into all this mess? But my dear friends, I would like to say not my perspective, but what Vedas have to say. Vedas says that a girl needs protection. When she is not married, she needs to be protected by her father. Once she gets married, she is protected by her husband. And later on, when the husband gets into a spiritual life, she is protected by her son. So, girl must get married. Not just because I am saying. Once the girl gets married, she has a higher responsibility, because only the married girl will be able to produce a good legitimate children which will be an asset for the future society. When we get married, it is very important that what kind of a partner you select. In today's generation, we see that we go on a very superficial criterias, like whether the boy is handsome looking, or same thing for the girl, whether the boy is rich, whether how they are staying in a joint family or a nuclear family. But my dear friends, it is very important that we get a good guidance from some senior friends or some senior family members or some senior mentors who are into spiritual organizations and who are training a lot of young girls into how to select a good partner. When you prioritize the criteria, you can just kind of note down that okay, what are the criteria which I want and which I can compromise. Because let me tell you, you will never get 10 criteria which will fit into a single boy who will have all 10 out of 10. So you will have to compromise. Sometimes you may say that okay, if the boy is qualified, he may be not very rich, if he may be spiritually little inclined. So you have to ultimately, under a guidance of a good person, decide that what kind of a partner you would choose. Then there are high chances that the marriage will work. And my dear friends, marriage is basically the mutual understanding between husband and wife. It has to be worked out. It can never be like made in heaven and it will be like a bed of roses. No, it will always be in between, pierced with thorns to give you the fragrance of roses.
Hi, this is Jia from Mumbai. My friends make fun of me because I don't do girlish things like makeup, long hair, jewelries, wearing girls' dresses like sari, salwar kurta, etc. I hate it. I just don't like it. My mother, sister, and whole family keeps annoying me every time that in future I'll have to face many problems. Will I have to? I am tired of them. I don't think there will be any problems. Will there be any? Is it wrong for a girl to be like this?
Oh dear, you look really, really very stressful. But anyway, a nice question. As far as doing girlish things, it is not necessary that everybody has to kind of do makeups or do some fashion which is in trend. No, if you are convinced that you want to be a simple girl, you can be. Let friends make fun of you. And to tell you that those friends who are making fun of you right now, those same friends later on will start appreciating you. That wow, it is not that the girl or any person can influence the society or make an impression by the way they dress up. It is by the way they lead their life, the way they are exemplary, their behavior, the way they talk, the way they are respectful to the elderly personalities. Not at all mandatory to just do the outside fashions. So I think you should not take so much stress about what my friends will say if I don't put nail polish or lipstick and I don't put my hairs in a fashion. Do the way your heart inspires you to go ahead. Okay, the next part of the question, as far as wearing saris and salwar kurtas which your mother and sisters are after your life and you are really bored of it, right? Okay, each occasion do have certain dress code. Do you agree with me? Suppose you go for a swimming, you go in a swimming costume and not in a salwar kameez or a suit, right? So we must understand, as a Vedic custom or a culture, we must not wear skimpy clothes in front of elderly personalities. You may, if you feel like wearing some western outfit or something what you like, you make sure that you are covered properly. You are nicely, your chastity is maintained. Your elders do not get disgusted at you. And as far as I would say, you cannot do anything artificially. Suppose somebody will tell you to put on sari, you will not be able to do artificially, but it is better to train our mind to be flexible and adaptable. If we do, then it is not only in the dressing sense, but in all the different departments, our life will be much more stress-free and peaceful. I hope I have answered your question.
Hello, my name is Madhavi from Lucknow. I'm very ashamed to tell this, but I'm suffering from this so much. My father has an extramarital affair, but my mother is very simple woman. She is not aware of it. Being the eldest in siblings, I feel responsible to take care of my little brother. I'm very afraid. What will happen when my mother comes to know about it? Please tell me what immediate steps I can take.
Yeah, really concerned about this question. And I assume that you being an eldest sibling, you must be more than 18 years of age. And I genuinely appreciate your concern about your younger brother and your emotional well-being about your mother. First of all, try to find out that why your father landed up in an extramarital affair. And please involve some senior family members or some senior friend whom you really take as your role model, who can maintain the confidentiality, because it is very important. Such things cannot be kind of disclosed and make the whole family things into a mess. So maybe you can just take a help of a senior family in your and take their guidance, or take a help of a professional counselor who can help you. But at the same time, be a very strong support for your mother and make sure that the outcome or the reaction when she comes to know about this does not destroy the family. Okay? just mistakes do happen. Try to nicely harmonize the family and give a chance, because according to Shastra, women should act as a fortress. So you will also learn a great lesson from this entire episode, and maybe you can be also cautious that such a thing does not happen with you in future.
I am Asha from Ratnagiri. My in-laws are very orthodox and narrow-minded, and there are frequent conflicts between our opinions that lead to small fights every day. And sometimes they become very difficult to interact with. How do I handle such situations?
I do sympathize. I do sympathize with your question that it is indeed a difficult situation. It is not easy to live with in-laws. And the solution to this problem is not universal. It will vary depending on your educational, financial needs of different families. But the essence is that our actions or our behavior should be such that the peace and the harmony is maintained in the family. And for that, we need to adapt or go through whatever adjustment are expected. We should be all out to kind of go for it. As far as in-laws, you will always see that anything in life has a positive and a negative side, advantages and disadvantages. So to adjust with in-laws, you may feel that so much disadvantages. You don't have your freedom, you don't have an independence, you can't dress up the way you want, you can't cook the way you want. You have to do practically everything the way they expect you to do. But at the same time, we see that today's scenario, most of the time women has excelled in their career, they are working, husband and wife, both of them are working almost in a corporate level, full time. And then they struggle to raise their children, kind of put them in a babysitting. But my dear friends, if you have in-laws, then it's a great support system as well. I am telling you from my own experience. I am also a working professional. The way they will give culture, they will give values to your children, that's the greatest benefit, greatest advantages. You don't have to pack from McDonald's burgers and give to your child. Those grandmothers will be very happy to cook hot meal or hot dinner or lunch and give to your children. So it's a win-win situation. No loss, no gain. You might have to adjust, give up a little bit of your independence, freedom, but at the same time you have a lot to do. So choice is always yours. But I would advise that better to adapt and be a little flexible, but stay in a joint family. In that way, even our children will learn and the legacy will be carried forth to the future generations.
Hi, this is Swara from Delhi. 2 years ago, I got married with my love of life. We had good days together, but now we feel very used to it. We don't feel anything new. My husband don't feel attracted to me as before. He's very busy in his work and hardly spend time with me. I love him, but I feel our relationship is becoming dry. Please give me some advice which will help in maintaining healthy, long-lasting relationship.
Nice question. See, life will be always different when you are in love, when you will get into a responsibility. Before 2 years, when you got married, you actually just met each other, you were in love with each other, so you just saw only the positive aspects in each other. The moment you get married, what starts happening? Right from morning to night, when you are seeing from such minute angles, you start seeing the negative aspects. But my dear friend, it is both the husband and wife, both of you must learn to accept each other as they are. If you try to change the opposite person, things will become very stressful and the relationship will not last long. For the relationship to last long and happy, please try to accept each other as they are, the positive things, and nurture on those positive things. Suppose somebody is fond of good meal, so make sure you try your level best to learn different dishes, provide different nice meal, and all the more when you spiritualize those meal by offering it to the Lord, by keeping pure thoughts in your mind when you are cooking, then this relationship will last longer.
Myself, Swati from Bhopal. I had an arranged marriage. In the starting, my husband appeared like a gentleman, but as the time passed, I got familiar with his nature. He has a very high temper. He beats me frequently and gets physical every day. I told my in laws about it. They tell me to only tolerate. He's an angry man. Just tolerate. Because of my husband's difficult nature, my in laws don't stay with us. They tell me just to tolerate with him. I have a baby, and for my baby, I have not left my husband. But I feel so alone. I feel like being exploited. Please guide me.
Yeah, I do sympathize, and it is really, really a sad situation. But my question is that sometimes this kind of situations should be dealt with lot of intelligence, and patience. I would not like to use the word keep on tolerating, because nobody can tolerate a physical abuse on a daily basis. So try to be a little more intelligent and go into the detail as to why he gets angry. Bhagavad Gita says that when the desires are not fulfilled, that leads to anger. So is it that whatever things he needs, he are not met with, which is making him angry? Or I would say that really use your intelligence and get into a micro level, that what are the things which is making him so angry, which gets into the physical abuse. Make sure that whatever things he like, suppose he likes a very neat and clean house, he likes, suppose in the night at 11 o'clock, hot off the pan chapatis, try to give, and make sure that the provoking situations are reduced to a great extent, because the moment he will be provoked, he will not be able to control his anger, because he has got into the habit of getting angry and then getting into the physical abuse. So these things needs to be tackled with intelligence, and in that you can take help of some counselors, some mentors who will be very, very happy to guide you, even by sharing some of the other people's personal experiences without breaking the confidentiality, and things can be solved.
Hello there, I am Sonakshi from Ajmer. It disturbs me so much when I see so many people not satisfied with their spouses that they go for the relationship outside the marriage. What is the reason that people are getting into so many extramarital affairs nowadays?
Yeah, nice question. Quite relevant as far as today's scenario is concerned. We see so many cases of extramarital affairs, and it is not just the men who is married gets attracted to a woman, but it's the vice versa as well. The women are also with their families, with children, but when they also land up with the extramarital affairs with some other men. Now why such a thing is happening? Actually, I would say the famous saying in Hindi, खुद के पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मारना. Why? Because as a lady, we always believed in being equal with men. If men goes out and earns money, even we are not less, and there is nothing wrong. I mean, today the women have excelled into career like anything. They are CEO of big multinational companies, they are big doctors, engineers, so much excelled into sports and Olympics and getting medals for the countries and on the administrative post in the government and you name it. They are pilots and women where not women has reached today. And what happens? Because they are working 12 to 14 hours away from the family, all the time into office, being so much stressful environment, so many targets to be achieved, so much career and goals and targets. What does they do? Suddenly to just de-stress. It's very natural that they start intermingling with the opposite gender in the offices, and you will see that these extramarital affairs are happening with people whom you are closely working with in the offices and in corporates. Then you start having lunch together, then you start sharing your thoughts and your mind and revealing your desires, and you have not planned for actually. You never thought that, women never thought that she doesn't like her husband, and similarly when the man has never planned that, oh, I'm bored with this wife and I'm bored with my children, but it's just on a subtle platform by interacting and intermingling and sharing of the ideas and the thoughts, they just become very very close to each other, and suddenly one fine day they realize that they have gone extremely ahead rather than just being as friends in their relationships. And this leads to tremendous amount of breaking in the families and divorces and so many murders and very very chaotic situations in the society. So that's how it is said that a woman has to maintain or uphold the level of chastity to a great extent. Vedas and scriptures says that chastity makes women very powerful, extremely powerful. All of us know about the famous Mahabharata. Just before the war, the great war of Mahabharata, what happened? A Gandhari who had collected so much of chastity by keeping her eyes closed, she called her son Duryodhana, and just with her chastity, she could make the entire body of her son as strong as thunder. So chastity is something which makes women extremely powerful. Why we say that behind every successful man there is a woman? Because women are extremely strong. Their shyness, their politeness, their chastity, these are the ornaments which makes her extremely strong personality. And it is also said that women should act like a fortress and protect her husband. So today's scenario, you must, if the man is working for 14 to 16 hours in a company, achieving the financial needs of the family, it is wife's utmost duty to make sure what are the husband's colleagues. Just come out of that shallow, that okay, Pati Parmeshwar, and not knowing anything about his office scenario and his work pattern. Just be like a friend to your husband. Then these kind of messes are going to be really, really less. And we as a chaste lady should become an asset to the society. Actually, 50% of population is constituted by women. So we play a major role. And if we uphold the great chastity, we will bring a great change.
Thank you for watching our show Ask Hare Krishna. If you have any spiritual questions, then kindly send your question as audio or video clips by WhatsApp to 9987060606, or you can even mail us at askhktv@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.